Hey, what is up? Anime Detour 2025. I am here with Tredemarc. Still love that, by the way. That's just
Thank
fun
you.
to say. And you are a burlesque dancer, and you're here at Anime Detour, obviously, to do lots of crazy, fun stuff.
Yes.
And I got to see it's off camera, but you have quite, like an insane Pokemon out like cosplay that you have, which is insane. So kind of how I want to start is everyone's got an origin story. How the what you're doing as your passion, your job, like how it came to be. So for you, how did burlesque kind of come into your life, and like how did you know like this is where I want my focus to go?
So background story, I've been doing for burlesque for uh 11 years now, 11, 12 years, give or take a pandemic. Um,
It changes.
it changes. Time is a social construct. And actually, I ended up getting into burlesque through a means of cosplay, but also through a means of self journey and healing. Um, I started so one of the very first cons that I ever did cosplay anything at it, and it
Yeah.
wasn't like the greatest cosplays, but was Anime Detour.
Oh, okay.
I went to high school, North High School, and a lot of my friends I was in the anime and manga club, and our yearly trip was to Anime Detour. So then after graduating high school, I started working at Walgreens, and I had a friend, Apollo Hawthorne, who was in like the cosplay scene and also the
Right.
burlesque scene as well, and he had tickets to the Best of the Midwest Burlesque Festival, which is now called the Minneapolis Burlesque Festival.
Okay.
Uh, and it was during January, February. So like I think my birthday was just happened, and he asked if anybody wanted to go and had tickets, and nobody jumped to these tickets. And I'm like, sure, I would love to go. I'd love to go see it. I'd love to do something because my birthday as an Aquarius is always in winter, and it's notoriously terrible to get to do anything
Yeah, it's winter in
for.
Seattle. It's
Yes,
the Midwest.
and tons of snow.
Yeah.
So I went to the show and I had no idea what burlesque was, what anything is all. The best social concept that I could have of it was Chicago, the movie, like
Okay.
the musical theater
Yeah.
Chicago. Yeah. So I was like, maybe it's like this. This is going to be great. This is going to be cool. And it was at the Ritz Theater. And I went and it was not that exactly. The first act that happened was by this girl named Ruby Rage from New Orleans. And she did this Boots Are Made for Walking act as a cowgirl
Okay.
number. And then she, like, immediately in the first minute, took her top off and had pasties and tassels and started spinning. And I was like, what is going on? What did I get into? What is all these things? This is different. And I'm like, these people not weirded out about the fact that this person is taking off their clothes? And then I was like, okay, everybody's into this. This is
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, they're normal to
The
this.
culture shock
Right.
has
Or
settled in.
something. Yeah.
And then I had these amazing performers who ended up becoming some of my good friends. Dahlia Dulce, who is no longer active, but she did this pretty princess Latina number with this giant pink boa, and it was so gorgeous and so pretty. And Musette, the Mistress of Mischief, who did a Maleficent number to Sweet
Okay.
Dreams Are Made of This. And that, like, Dahlia's classics spoke to like the aesthetic of my heart, but Musette's like nerdless number as Maleficent spoke to my nerd self as like already have
Right.
been
Yeah.
doing cosplay and stuff. It was like, this is great. So then I got invited to go backstage because Apollo had backstage access for their after party.
Oh, okay.
And then a burlesque legend named Judah Stein came up to me and asked me if I danced. And I said, no, I kind of, I'm not
Wait, no
like a
one's
dancer.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, babe. Do you do burlesque? She's a burlesque legend in Canada. She's also an Aquarius. And I've fallen in love with her. Um, and then another burlesque performer named Ophelia Flames interjected into the conversation. She said, no, but he'll be good at it. And that got the gears spinning for me,
Right.
especially seeing somebody do.
Someone like that is saying something.
Yes. Especially like being a nerd person and seeing somebody already doing a nerdless act. I was like, maybe I can do like bring my cosplay into this burlesque field. And so I went to Nudie Newbies and performed, and I did a mix of a like my Paul for Sona, which was like my first number. It was terrible. We all start somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yes. And then like a Jack Skellington act to Muse's Feeling Good.
Okay.
And Foxy Tan saw me. She ended up becoming my burlesque mother. And Redbone was like, there's another black person and a black male who wants to do burlesque. And we are going to take him and help teach him how to be good at it. And then 11 years later, here I am, international award-winning show performer, show pony. I've been voted one of the top 50 burlesque performers in the world 3 years in a row. I've competed at the Burlesque Hall of Fame. I've been in magazines. I've headlined festivals. I tour across the world in Canada and Vienna. I've done a lot and seen a lot.
That's
So yeah.
pretty crazy for, like you said, like someone kind of seeing you and just being like, do you do this? Like, we think you could be good at it. To, like you just said, like an insane, like what would be like a Hall of Fame career in doing what you're doing.
Yeah, the trajectory has definitely.
That's a rocket ship.
Yeah.
That's a trajectory. Trajectory means there's like a slope, whereas I think you just went straight up and like kept going.
And it felt good. It came to me, like burlesque came to me at a time of feeling like I wasn't going to be the best. I didn't think I had not much to live for
Yeah.
in my life, and maybe I was just going to be another statistic. There was a lot of mental
Yeah.
stuff that came in, but then like I found this art form, and it helped me process that of like, how do I want to live my life? What do I want to do? Like even my own like sexuality and personal identity, and how do I want to identify? And it helped me figure out and process that. And then with that, a ton of amazing stuff has happened. I never thought I'd be traveling the world, let alone seeing tons of people enjoy what I do.
Yeah. Like you said, it's kind of taking something that you created a passion for and just seeing people like resonate with what you're doing and the message you're kind of like able to like send out there. Like you said, you've won a lot of awards and a lot of. How do you figure out like when you're going to a show, like the next like what should I wear? What should my routine be? Like I got to imagine that there's a pretty long process of like figuring out what you want to do and how you want to do it. Like for you, how does that process kind of look?
For me, it depends on a few aspects. A lot of times, for most people in burlesque, there's three overarching circles that people look at, and it's either, costuming, song, choreography.
Okay.
Those three things typically dictate how somebody's going to build an act. So most of the time they see a color palette, whether it's like yellow and blue, and they'd be like, oh, I want to make a costume for this, and try to fill it out, and we'll be like, what will look great for this? What song would fit for this? What moves would look great with this costume deal? Or like the song would also dictate and be like, oh, this would be good for this and this would be good for that. So for me, I tend to lean towards the costume aspect and the song aspect of things, of how I build an act, and the crazy idea that come in my mind that I build Google Drives for all the time that just
Yeah.
sit there, especially if having cosplay background. Oh, I want to do this and this and this. Especially with Nerdless. For instance, this Quavedal backpack piece that
I'll take a picture of it.
yes. Came about because I love water Pokemon. I've always been a big water fanatic Pokemon, and Quaxley's evolution into Quavedal being like the dancing carnival Pokemon. I was like, oh, this Pokemon fits me. So I like had an initial bond to it. Just the overall design and character of the Pokemon, which surprised, actually I have not played the Pokemon game that he's in, but I loved Quavedal so much. And I really wanted to bring the carnival part of what inspired this Pokemon to life in a like burlesque showgirl backpacky way, and so that's where like that inspiration came from. And then like I like Inception puns also within my Nerdless. So the song that I performed to is a mashup of Tila's Water and Beyonce's Water from the Lion King soundtrack. So that's the whole like pun into it. This music is very carnival themed. Water as aspect as a water Pokemon, and then it being a blue water duck. Interaction circles of those things.
It all connects
in
different ways.
And so that's how I kind of work in that process, especially if like my brain sees three ideas in a circle, and then figuring out where they intersect at
Yeah.
and how to build that act around it.
Okay.
Another good example is my Majin Buu number that I have. I built it as a very classic number, so people who don't know who Majin Buu is outside of nerd things are just like,
Right.
it's a really pretty costume. But for people who know, I performed to the song Majin Buu by Frank Ocean, or
Okay.
Pink Matter by
Yeah. Yeah.
by Frank Ocean. He says Majin Buu in the song. But so people who listen to it are like, it's a Frank Ocean song. It's Pink Matter. It says Majin Buu in the song. The color scheme
Yeah.
looks like
Okay.
the nerds are sitting there being like, is this what I think this is?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, actually,
Yeah.
it
You
is.
got it right. Yeah.
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 hmm
You got it figured out. You
The
got
Easter eggs were for you, and
Yeah.
then it's just a pretty act for everyone
Yeah,
else.
Exactly. Everyone can enjoy like the aesthetic of it, and then fans of nerd culture can understand those like little Easter eggs you're putting into the choreography, the outfit, and I like that. That's really cool. I know you said that kind of falling into this kind of helped you with a lot of the stuff that you were like processing and going through. So kind of on that topic, as we kind of like wrap up, what to you like is a message kind of like a message form that you could kind of give to other people that either want to kind of get into burlesque or maybe going through similar stuff and are trying to find that avenue like you did to try to like.
I would say definitely when you find something that makes you happy, um, enjoy it. First and foremost, because things evolve and change, it may not be what's going to continue to make you happy in the long run. But for the moment, be able to really take it in and enjoy those good times and the things that you create and want to create that joy out of. Really lean into that joy because times are tough. And joy is now becoming such a scarce resource to come by. And so really do something that's going to make you feel good and want to be good.
Right.
And many different facets of that sense. And mostly like, and that be good, do it for yourself deal.
Yeah.
Don't worry about doing for other people. Create what you want to see, what you want to be in the world,
Yeah.
and really enjoy and lean into that joy of you're doing this, you're creating something, you're living for something.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. And then obviously I want to make sure any main social you use or website or places that people could support you, whether it's, I'm not sure how.
Yeah. So all of my Instagram handles are pretty much the same across the board. It's my stage name, Tredamarc, which is a fun spelling of the word trademark. Just a couple letters
I know.
are moved around. I love a good pun. There could only be one of me.
Yeah.
So all my social media handles, I mostly live on the Instagram web of things. I need to redo my website, but you can find me at all my social media, my stage name. I am a current residency performer with GalaxyCon, so I travel and perform for their cons across the whole wide nation. I will be at Gen Con this year performing for them. I'm headlining Dragon Con this year as well. And I will be a part of the International Nerdless Festival, which is produced by Maki. Why am I forgetting their last name right now? Maki Roll. And they are a wonderful performer. And also, I am producing Juneteenth Jubilee here in Minneapolis, which is an all-black burlesque show. So that is my production. And the Minneapolis Burlesque Festival I am a part of.
Awesome.
So,
Well, make sure you follow us. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today, and best of luck at the rest of the convention. Best of luck with everything you got going on this year. Keep it going.
thank you so much.
You're doing awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Nope.
Bye.